Well, hello there. I've got a beautifully sintered 7-gallon pail of snow, and just look at this. It was fluffy snow yesterday, and now it carves beautifully. Now it's on a rotisserie, and we're going to try and create this. It's a hooded dude with the nose way up top. He's pretty funky. He's got a hood. He's got his hand in the pocket there. So I'm going to try and do the front view now, and to do that, I'll come along the back, and I'm just going to follow what this picture is showing me. Oh, it's rocking big time, so I'll just hold that. And look at that snow. It's gorgeous. And I'm going to try and come down about a third. And this is the side, the front view. And once I get this cut in, it's going to make everything else so much easier. Now, I'll just flip it around for myself. You won't be able to do this, unfortunately, because you don't have a rotisserie like I do, but you get the idea. And this thin saw is great because I can turn an angle really easily. But I want to see, I'm going to hold up my picture and try and get the proportions right. So his shoulders come down like this. I'll spin it again, do the same on the other side. Try and line it up so you can see dead on. And it comes in kind of like this, and later my feet come in. The bottom of the coat kind of comes in like this. Yeah, and I guess I can cut this way too. And this is going to give me these side proportions properly right off the bat. Okay, so now I have to get these proportions. So here's my front. I know you can't see that well, but I think we'll be okay. I need to round off that top of the hoodie there. Sawing motion. And I'm just getting that hoodie going. It's funny how the shape all of a sudden starts to show up. So the hood kind of comes in, I guess, just like it normally would. So this is his head's in there somewhere. And then we got his back, I guess. I'm going to put my hand up top. There we go. Got it. The arm will be a little tricky. Around the front, kind of comes in like this, doesn't it? For his hood. And now I'm going to try and get the sides. And to do that, dropping my tools on the ground here. I'm using a grapefruit knife. Now, if you're a new carver, you'd be using a robust plastic knife, as I call it, because they're pretty safe, but always have your parents or guardians approve. But I'm going to use it partly because I want to keep this within 15 minutes so I can put it onto Instagram. Now, this is my front here, isn't it? So I'm just going to try and get a little bit of the shape for the head. I'm going to stay away from the edge and just make a loop. Okay, and then take a little bit out like this. And we'll see if the guy starts to appear. And once it works, I can start to go a little closer to the edge, but that'll certainly be the weak point. And then down here, this is going to be his chin. So let's get that in pretty soon. There's his chin there. And then under the chin, we got to take out quite a bit of snow. I used to call it material, but let's try and call it what it is. Snow. And we cut that back a little bit. I'm going to cut this up here. Woo! So there's his face. The top of the hood comes in like this, I guess. And if I did a couple of these, it'd be a lot easier. So now I'm going to try and get this nose on here. So his eyes are sort of hidden. That's part of the fun here. And then we're going to cut underneath that nose and then round it off a little bit. Okay. And then maybe we'll go in like this, a little deeper. Got to think of how I would wear a hoodie. The hoodie's not that thick, is it? So I'm going to cut that a little deeper there. How's that coming? So we got his mouth somehow. Comes down from the nose somehow. I'm not even quite sure how this works, but I'm just going to follow the picture I have. I carved this out of wood, but I can't find the darn thing. This is his lip apparently here. And it comes, there's a little slash, comes down like this. Okay. And underneath, I have a little loop tool. I got it off the web. That allows me to get underneath his lip a little bit. And while I have it here, I think that'd be a nice way to round off that nose a little bit. Although, you know, this grapefruit knife, I'm really sold on it. Because it's serrated on both sides, I can cut both ways. And it's a very fine point. And it really allows me to get focused on some detail. So, this needs to come up a little more. There we go. A little more here. Now, his head's not that long. So let's take some more off the back of that head. Lots of material flying here. Good thing I've got my paper in a plastic sleeve here. That'll make things a little easier. And then it's his back. Here's his coat. The coat comes around the front. I'm sort of jumping around here, aren't I? But it's allowing me to kind of get an idea of what the shape is supposed to look like in the end. So obviously his legs are down here. So if I cut out this area, there we go. And then a little bit down the middle, that's the beginnings of his feet. But we've got boots at the bottom. So I'm going to cut them higher than I think, because I can always trim down, but I want to leave some supporting material there. And I'll cut out some of this material to have the beginnings of feet. And I think we're going to go a little more narrow on the whole thing, because his feet are a little wide there, aren't they? Yeah, more like this. Yeah. And then we'll come up. These are his boots. We'll come up in like this, maybe. And then up this way and in a little bit. And since I've got this big saw, let's come in with these boots and see if we can just cut out a whole bunch at once. That's pretty cool. I'll go back to my grapefruit knife and define those pants a little bit more, or the point in between. And boots are not round like this, they're more square, so I'll square those off. Okay. This is the first time I've carved. Well, I did an 8-foot version of this one time, and that was fun. But now I'm trying this small carve. Now I'm going to go across the top like this for the pouch, I'll call it. This is what his hands are going to go into. And a pouch has to be rounded on the bottom, obviously. And rounded on the top. And then his hands are going to go into this spot here. So I guess having this, knowing that the hands go in there, makes that a little easier. So now I better go the same orientation as my picture. I've got a hand coming down like this, and I'm thinking it's going to be something like this. So I'm going to take out this snow here and the front of his jacket, and I'll do the same angle on this side. And his body is obviously rounded here, so we're going to carve in like this. Hooded dude is what we're doing here. Not much sun out today, but it's cold. It's like -5. These cameras may freeze fairly soon, but we're going to keep going until they do. All right, so key point here is how far do you go in? Think of their body. Body's something like this. I'll take out that little triangle. It makes it look a little bit more like an arm coming down. And here, same thing. I'll cut that out. And then I'll start to shape that arm a little bit, and it bleeds into the shoulder. This obviously comes out here. Otherwise, you'd have a really big back there. Yeah, we're going to take even more. I think I can take a little off the front, too. Gosh, you start to get a view for the entire shape. I'm sort of rounding this front here. I could use my glove. This glove has very few seams, and it's good for smoothing things, which quickly help bring the shape to life. Now, if I can get this nose defined a little more, I think that's going to really help the overall look. So let's take the face in. Those cheeks are way too big. If I can take those cheeks in, that will help to make that nose pop a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Time to go around the top of this hoodie and see what's happening there. Round off that cheek. Round off that cheek. Maybe I should put eyes on this guy. Who knows? I'm going to go into the neck a little bit before I come over to the shoulder. Yeah, and then the bottom of the arm. I think I'm all over the place here, aren't I? I think the bottom of the arm. Oh, there's got to be an elbow. It has to come down and then over. So I may have just put a cut right through the arm, which would not be that good. But we'll see what we can do here. This definitely has to come off. There, all of a sudden the arm starts to show. Okay, then round the edges a little bit. And then bleed that into there. I think I took a little bit too much off here because the arm's coming off, kind of coming off his neck. If I can pull that off, pull that in a little bit, that may give me some license to have a bit of a shoulder there. All right. So comparing left to right all the time, I think my arm was something like this, and then there's an arm coming. And on the back side, my picture's not that good for the back side, but it's sort of his coat comes down, I guess. So I'll put a line all the way around for his coat. Let's drop that picture. Let's just go for it. And then I'm going to take a little bit out from under there. But I think, look at the size of that coat. That's ridiculous. So let's take that off a bit. There, that looks better, doesn't it? Trial and error. And you know what? This is such wonderful medium. Look at that carve. It's just carving like, not like butter. It's like non-packing, compacted snow. It's just amazing. And, you know, if you made a bunch of pails worth one night, let them all sinter all night, and then use them the next day, I think, wouldn't that be a great way to approach things? Just run my finger along there. Now, I've got to take way more off the back. Let's go, big tool. Yeah, that's better. Chopping it way down there. And I'll come up to the coat. Define that coat a little more. Now you're looking through the camera lens, and I have not stood back in a long time, which is totally against everything I've been preaching about standing back. So I'm going to stand back very soon to take a look at what is happening, because that will give me a new perspective. Okay, let's take a look. Yeah, sort of coming. I think I want to focus clearly on how those hands go into the, would that be called a muffler maybe? But we need a break there for a break. So there's the end of the coat, let's say, going into the muffler, as I've for some reason started to call it. This muffler's a little thin, but it'll do. It's my first time. Round off that leg bone here. But let's round off that arm, define it into the elbow, up we go, bleed the top of that into the shoulder. Maybe if I take off a little here, it'll kind of bleed better. I think I need a little bit of snow there. I'm going to try something. I'm going to just push some snow into that. And without pushing the whole tower over, I'm going to put some pressure on it and push there for 10 seconds. And that'll get the sintering started. And now I'm going to let go. Now I'm going to ignore that for the next little while to let it sinter some more. I'll work on some other things that obviously need attention, like the separator between the two legs at the back. And these are pants, aren't they? And the pants are there's supposed to be a knee there somehow. What the heck? How does that happen? I think what happens is the boot comes in. So I need to really take that in. I could have used this to really take that in together. And I'll lift it all out. And then there's the knee, so then I'll go above that. Yeah, that's a little weird. I'm not sure I like that. But we're learning. And the back, I don't have, having a good picture or the actual maquette or the thing I'd carved would have been really useful here, because then you'd know exactly what needs to happen. But if that's my knee, I think if you're sort of bending down, there's got to be a bit of a V cut there. Yeah, it's a little weird. Okay. But here's the back of his boots, I guess. Boom. And I could define the top of those boots, couldn't I? For example, maybe the boot stops there, and I put a little line above it, which will help define that boot. Yeah, next time I do this, definitely I need more research on what it's supposed to look like. Because if you have a model of what it's supposed to look like, you're obviously going to have more fun. Now, look at this. It's a mess. Hold the top gently. Smooth it off with my glove. It starts to look better right off the bat. Now, this is getting a little hard up there, so I will take a knife. Different techniques. I'll just try this sort of chopping, or sometimes mainly sawing, but sometimes I'll chop too. You kind of feel what it's doing. Okay, left and right. I'm comparing left and right. Get the symmetry right. Angle that off a little bit. Let's define this down here. Anytime you can define an edge, it's going to help everything look better. Now, I think I need to come in underneath here. Yeah, there we go. That was what was the issue. We had to pull this stuff out. Carve off this snow. Think about the human body and what the shape is. Had way too much snow in there. And even here, this is going to help define that shoulder. There, is that looking more like a shoulder now? Now, can I do that on this side? I can take that right in there and then push it back. There we go. And then, he's got kind of pointy shoulders. Oh, there I just erased that one, or burnished it off. Okay, we're getting pretty sanded here, so I think we need some more definition. So, and it's looking a little more like it should. So there we go. And into here, we can take that in. And there we go. Now this is smooth, because remember that material is joined here. That's just the muffler. Let's see if we can get this a little more defined. The end of the coat, and then the hands would be in there somewhere, jabbed into the muffler. Okay. And how about the other side? Symmetry. Right about here. Around we go, not too deep. And then cut out that coat. I wonder if this guy has gloves on, or if he's just got bare hands and he's jammed them into that muffler to try and stay warm. Who knows? Okay, we've been working on these arms quite a bit, and it's coming, but I think I'm about to go up to that face and see if we can define a little more on the face. Okay, what do we got? Let's take one more look at the face. What do I need? Round this off a little bit. The chin was too long. And then we're coming up to, I'm going to use this tool just to define that bottom lip. And then there's a hole in this one. And I'm just going to carefully chop that out and then dig it out, which will hopefully make it look as it should. Nothing wrong with blowing the snow out. And what's that detail? There. A little deeper on that. And I guess that's a lip, isn't it? So, or is that a mouth? Yeah, there's the mouth. And then above it. Yeah, okay. All right. Now, I was not looking straight on. This has probably been bugging you for some time, hasn't it? There. And now I'll smooth that back in. And I'll make a little more definition there. That'll give us a nice look. And I gotta make the left a little more. If I was looking straight, I'm trying to hold it for you, but if I held it straight onto myself, I could really start to compare the left and right, because symmetry is so key. Now, what happens with the chin? I'm thinking something like this. Yeah. And then up here, we're going to go into there. I think that's deep enough. But let's make this right more similar. Yeah. And then we'll go around the top of that nose. Look at that. That little bit of detail right there really starts to make it pop. Yeah. There we go. Now all the snow's been falling down here. And look, I've lost my definition on the muffler where the coat goes in. There. Oh, the boots are a disaster. Okay, let's even them up. Left and right. And I was too far on the left, so I'm going to make that hole bigger there. That's interesting. Now the boot, I guess, if I round it off, I guess it comes down a little bit for a boot. Round it off. It's not like a square top boot. Think of a real boot. What would a real boot look like? And that's coming. Okay, there's something off on that top. Is it this side needs to come in a bit? And then there's the side there. This would be more smooth. Getting there. Yeah, I'm happy. This is going to work. There's some funny snow here. I can feel that. Smooth the things. So what do you think? How can we finish this off and make it look spectacular? Is there some little thing we can do at the end to make it look even better? Let's see here. Maybe a little off this chin. Round it off so it's not so square. Yeah, a little off the corner. It's getting pretty delicate there. And we could round this a little bit, but I think we might have it. We'll finish with one more piece of detail on the hand. Same this side. Yeah, if I make the hands smaller than the muffler, that'll help show that they're different. And if you blow the snow away too much with your air, you're going to get what's happening to me, which is you're going to be hyperventilated. So try not to do that. Oh boy. Yeah. Okay, final rotation. Are you going to try one of these? Now this was using fluffy snow packed into a pail using a pounder or just my hands and letting it sinter for 2 hours. This one has been sintering overnight. And because it's non-packing snow and it was all fluffy and it's all the same, there's no ice, it became a beautiful carving medium. So I'll put this up on YouTube, but if you want more info, there it is, Snowbank Productions online. And hope you have lots of fun this winter, regardless of what you do. And we need to name this guy. So if there's a comment section wherever you see this, maybe recommend some names for this dude with his hoodie. All right, take care, have fun. See you next time.